Okay, so I'm gonna extend a couple of program questions in the midterm, as I mentioned last week, and I wasn't able to figure out my recording, and there was a problem with my microphone, and so I just figured out today. Okay, the first question I want to discuss is the counting box problem. And okay, so the counting box problem. Okay, so this is a question. Box collector collects box every day for 5 days. So we need to collect the number of box for 5 days and write a program keep a running total of number of box collected during the 5 days, and the loop should ask for number of box collected for each day, and when the loop is finished, the program should display the total number of box. So the question requires us ask a user to provide a number of box collected each day and for 5 days. So this question requires us to implement using a loop. Without loop, we have to collect a 5 like box number of box for 5 days, and then we have to define 5 variables, and each one store the number of box collected in each day. And with a loop, we don't have to. So, but we still need to keep asking user and to provide us and the number of box through input. Make sure convert into the integer, and we can repeat that statement, the program, for 5 days using a loop. Okay. So here's my implementation. So for the loop, there's a two way we can implement. And the first approach, we use a for loop. And I think many of you use a for loop. So actually, I want you to implement using while loop. And since our lecture focused on while loop. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the implementation of a while loop. First, we have to define number of days, 5 days. Okay, so we put the 5 for 5 days and in a variable called total days. And we also, since we are gonna count number of box, so we have to start with 0. Okay, and we define another variable and to keep track how many box and add it to the total. So we have to maintain another variable. And so using while loop, we have to check if the current day and it's less than total day. So totally 5 days, right? Let's say we start from first day, second day, third day, fourth day, 5 days, 5th day. So we have to make sure our loop 5 times, and then so I define a variable on current day to represent the current day, and so we have to make sure our loop 5 times. Each time we collect the number of box for that day, and so this is the condition, the Boolean expression we keep tracking, and this Boolean expression should return should be true for 5 iterations. Okay, and so total days is 5, and current day is a variable, and we're gonna give it to be initialize to be 1. We start with first day and then every time we add a 1 at a time. So so currently with the current date start from 1 and total date is 5 and the 1 less than 5 that's true. And then we every time in the loop we add a current date by 1 and then after 5 iterations and the loop should exit. So we'll have to make in that way we make sure our number our loop iterate 5 times. So first of all I need to get the user input for collected today. So this is the number of bugs we collected for 1 day, and we use an input and enter number of bugs collected on day current day. On day, if we want to add the day number, so we can do like that. And then total, once we have a total, we have a number of bugs collected for each. For current day, we're gonna add it to total bugs. Our total bugs start from 1. Collect a day, right? So at beginning this is 0, and then when current day equal to 1, so we get the number of bugs, and then add it to the total bugs, and then we have to make sure we increment current day by 1, otherwise it's gonna go to the infinite loop. And so now we finish our loop, and then we're gonna print the uncollected day. Collected is total box. Okay. So now we print the final result here, and then we're gonna run the code. So this gives us an error. What is the error? So the input for input only take 1 argument. We should add it to convert to a string on current day. So input has to be string, parameter has to be string. This is a string, but if we want to also print the day index, like first day, second day, we have to convert it into a string. Okay, and we put a str outside, and then use plus sign to concatenate. Now we're gonna run. Okay, so now the program runs and asks us to provide the first day. Let's see, we collect 4, second 7, 2, 1, 8. Okay, so this is a little confusing. I think we should pass the space. Let's run that again. So now we leave a space and a colon. 5, 1, 3, 7, 2. Okay, the total is 20. Okay, so that's 14. So this is a while loop. We have to, the most important, we have to set up the condition, Boolean expression, make sure the loop iterates 5 times, because the question asks of 5 days. Right, so next I'm gonna give a quick implementation for the for loop. Many of you use a for loop. Current day in range, so to total days plus 1. Okay, this actually does the same function as the while loop here. And the while loop, this is actually loop 5 times, so we want to make sure in using for loop we also loop 5 times. And the range and 1 to 6, and make a list of 5 numbers, and the current day is a variable and defined here. One of the elements, so there are total 5 elements. The range function here and generate a range object from 1 to 5. Okay, not include the last element 6. Then this loop 5 times, so each time we're gonna do the similar stuff. So I could just copy paste code here, and then I'm gonna print out the result. Okay, so first day got 2, 1, 7. Okay, total I got 20. If you add these 5 numbers together, 11 plus 9. Okay, that's 20. And this is the first question. Second question is the print Python program to compute a sequence number. Okay, so this is the question. So now I'm gonna start to program, and this actually the formula gives a list of numbers, so we're gonna add them together using a loop. This is one term, second, third, fifth, fourth, and fifth, and all the way to n. So how many terms? Okay, there are n terms. If you just look at the denominator from 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to n, so you know how many elements, right? So it's gonna be n elements, n terms. So every term we have to add 1 number at a time, and then the loop will iterate 5 n times. So the most challenging part is how to, because each term is different, right? So we have to write a formula to Python code to represent each term correctly. And so it's a fraction number. So on the top is the denominator and denominator. Denominators start from 1 to n. And just like question similar to the total of from 1 to n, integer from 1 to n, right? So you can add them together. But this is a fraction number also. You have to deal with denominator as well. So 1 over some number, another number, okay, and 2 over n minus 1, 3 over n minus 2. So what's the relationship? So basically it's just the reverse direction, right? So the first denominator is n, and if you just look at the denominator, it also start from n, and every time decrease 1, right? Then eventually you got n. So the denominator is increase, denominator is decrease by 1 at a time. So that's so we're gonna initial total to be 0. Whenever you want to calculate addition, and as the total, like the sum of a sequence number, you have to define variable to be total and give it to 1. If it's a product, you have to define a product equal to 1. Okay, the total has to be 0. And if you use a for loop, and so this is a I in range, how many elements? There are n, right? From 1 to plus 1. Okay, what is n? We don't know, but we can give a small number. We start with a small number, but this n can be given from by user input, right? So n should be given as user input, and enter n. And then this loop, and make sure it's a loop 5 times. So like n times, not 5 times. And then total has to be at, okay, one fraction number at a time. The first number is 1 over n. So 1 is I start from 1 to n, right? Start from 1. So we're gonna use I divided by denominator is n. And so if then the one way you can think about it is what's the relationship between denominator and denominator. They actually add together equal to n plus 1. So you can give a try. The first one is 1 plus n, right? And the second one 2 plus n minus 1, also n plus 1. Third is 3 plus n minus 1 is n plus 1 as well. So if we know we're going to add together denominator and numerator equal to n plus 1, then we know the denominator is I, so denominator should be n plus 1 minus I. Right? And then we're done. The sum is total. Plus total. Let's try 5. Here we're done. Okay, so you can practice how to convert the for loop to while loop. And next question is implement if else statement and try to. So this is a condition. There's 2 conditions. One is a graduate with the cumulative GPA with 3.5 or above. So you have to define 3 variables. And first variable is the GPA, second is number of honor course and student took, and third is number of honor courses in the major. And you have to check if the GPA is above the threshold and also took a 4 honor course or at least 2 of them are in the major. So first of all, we have to define 3 variables. Input and enter GPA and the number honor courses equal to n. Input enter the total number of honor courses third one is the number owner major course. Input, enter the total number of owner major courses. With these three numbers initialized, now we just need to check if GPA greater than equal to 3.5, and that's one condition. And took a full owner course or at least a 2. Okay. So then we're gonna add. This is one condition. Another condition is choose one of each, one of two conditions. So then the owner number of owner courses has to be equal to 4, and 4 number owner major course greater than equal to 1, because it said at least 2 of them are in major. And the total of 4 courses, I think, yeah, this question I have typo. This should be and, but here I just assume the question is correct, so I show you the correct the implementation. But the question should be and, so this is a typo. But I keep that. I just assume this is the correct question. If this is true, and then congrats, you will receive an honor degree, and now print I'm sorry, and you will not receive an honor degree. The last question is you need to check 100 input number from user and count how many of them are even number. And here I just make number input as 100, but here I just make a 5 first, and I'll show you why I make 5, because that's easier for testing. And then I use a for loop. Yeah, I use a while loop this time, so I have to define a variable and current number equal to 1. If the current number less than equal to number input, which is 5, and then I'm gonna get input current input number equal to in, and input and enter an integer, and then I'm gonna have to check if that number current input number if it's an even number. How are we gonna check the even number? We have the modular 2. If divide by 2 and remainder is 0, then we know it's gonna be even number. Okay, so we add a 1 to the counter, and so now we have to define another total number even, and since this and this number start with 0, right? So at the beginning we have no even number, and then if we find one number, if this number, current number, divide by 2 and remainder 0, then we're gonna we know this is the even number, so we're gonna add 1. Otherwise, there's nothing we need to do, right? And but in the for loop, we have to make sure we keep track, increment the current number from the first and second and third all the way to the total number, right? So, and then that's it. We're gonna print how many total total number of integer, even integer current number, total number, even. Okay. So we can give a try. If this doesn't work, this is another way to increase by 1. The first number, so now we're gonna try 5 number, since the 100 number is gonna take a while to pass it. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So among 5 numbers, there are 3 even number, right? So let's try another one. 1, 3, 7. Okay, there's only 1 even number. Okay. So now we're gonna change to 100. That's it. We don't need to test again. Okay, so I think this is for midterm programming questions. So so you have to be able to implement these questions, and each one probably in 5 minutes. Okay, so watch my video and try to understand every single variable statement, and how we're going to construct a loop, or how we construct a for if statement and if else statement, and also practice more. Okay, at least you have to practice. Okay, and practice enough time, and also try our homework questions. Make sure you can do every question in 5 minutes. Okay. If you can't do that, then you have to spend more time to practice, or you identify the problem where you get stuck, whether you don't understand some concept or not very clear to some concept. So you have to understand everything. Okay, get familiar with this concept. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to complete the exam question for the final.